This is where the fun begins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is OG Star Wars, and this is the episode of Talking EU with my, I guess you could say my guest, the lady in the hot seat today, Lady Tauriel. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to it, I think. Fingers crossed, but yeah.
It's going to be sweet and simple. And again, Talking EU is like an interview, like a very intimate one-on-one with fellow EU enthusiasts, Star Wars enthusiasts. And it doesn't matter your level of knowledge and experience with the EU. It's just about you and the EU, what it means to you, your favorite character, where you began, because everybody has their own starting level, right? And everybody has their own reasons they started, and it could be just like through games only, it could be comics only, or it can be all of it, or it could be just the novels, and it could be very simple. Like when I was talking to Drunk 3PO, he began the EU with the books that surrounded the movies to enhance the movies a little bit more because he wanted to know more, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what it's all about, and it's about you and your experience with the EU, and I'm so happy to have you here.
It's great that you invited me. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Yes. We'll see how it goes.
It's going to go beautifully, okay? Don't worry about it. So I had Mr. Brian King, who left a message a while ago, and it says, "Hey, OG, I can't stomach any more of the Disney Star Wars slop. He must say they have ruined the EU lore." Not necessarily. We still have the EU lore in its own entirety right now, in its own, I guess you could say, timeline, which they call Legends now, which I know is a kick in the butt to us EU fans, but at least we still have that. They are making up their own lore that's basically destroying or contradicting George's movies, because that is the foundation. George's movies has always been consistent with the foundation of Star Wars. So, and then we have Miss Martin Uses and her custom little rose and hand wave. Hello.
Hi, Teresa.
Yes, and you know what? Okay, so I haven't told her this, but last night I had a dream about her, and she was a Sith. I swear to God, I'm not BSing you on that. Yeah, we were visiting. I don't even know what she looks like yet, but we were visiting. So whatever she looked like in my dream, maybe it's accurate or not, I don't know. And we were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden she said something, and she like faced away, and then she turned back at me, and her eyes were Sith yellow. I was like, oh. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, goodness, Teresa, you didn't know you were a Sith. Oh, hey.
Yeah, she's like, what? Yes, I don't know why. But I dreamt about you and you were a Sith, like you became a Sith. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. Like I said, I don't know her. I only know her by her little avatar rose and stuff. So I don't know what she looks like personally. I've never got the privilege to see her beautiful face, but whatever she looked like, she was beautiful in my dream, mind you. And then she just came out with the Sith eyes, and I was like, holy crap. Yeah. I was like, wow. So, and then we have Zaggerot 315. Good evening, y'all. Good evening to you. And then good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And we also have Logan coming in. Hello. So everybody's here to, listen to us have our conversation with you, and how Star Wars has, influenced you, how you got into it and everything. So I'm really excited. And then Shane Nolan says, "Hi, Alora, and my Lady Tauriel can only stay for a minute. I'll catch up tomorrow." And it says 20 a.m. or 2 a.m. or yeah. So, and then let's see here. And then he says, I recommend Cline Wars Wild Space for Tauriel. It's pickers up right after the Clone Wars Wild Space. Okay. Cline Wars. I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
Clone Wars.
The Klein Wars. So let's get to some Klein Wars.
Hey, that would be good.
Yeah, and then Alex, hello. For me, it started with a Rogue Squadron game and the Vehicles and Vessels reference book. See, there we go. And then let's see here what Miss Martin Muses has to say. If I have become a Sith, I've come by it honestly. That's what Jason.
You've been hanging around all of us. See, now that's what happened. You were this nice, quiet, shy, you know, very,
Yeah.
very ladylike lady, and see what happened to you? Turned you into Seth. I mean, what can I?
Yes, you influenced her. You know, you Sith are sly. Right. So let's get into this conversation now. And first thing I want to know is like, how did you get into the EU? If you want to discuss that a little bit.
Well, actually, I didn't know I was into the EU.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it happened years ago because I went to a yard sale, and I like Star Wars. So I went to a yard sale and I found like 5 hardcovers.
Mm-hmm.
I picked them up for like 50 cents a piece.
That's a steal.
Yeah, and it was The Courtship of Princess Leia, The Crystal Star. Shoot, I'd have to look at the other ones that I have, but those 2 main ones. And I read The Courtship of Princess Leia way back then, and I'd forgotten about it. And then I got into the movies. And then the Last Jedi happened.
Everybody has their origin with the Last Jedi story kind of deal, right?
And it was like, what the heck is going on here? Because like you, Luke is one of my favorite characters, and it was like, what the heck are you doing here? And so basically, I was doing other in other people's chats and stuff, and on Twitter, and people kept telling me, start a channel. So that's when I started my channel. And then my channel went away for a while because I would have been on for like 2 years now, but I got hacked.
Oh,
but
okay.
that's how, and then when I started my channel back up, because Google told me shut everything down because they couldn't find out where everything was coming from.
Oh,
and
okay.
so I shut my channel down for like 3 months, 4 months, and then I brought the channel back. So I'm just regrowing again. But that was basically where that all started, was getting into the EU again, because thanks to Disney, they made a whole lot of people get into the EU.
Oh yeah, and are those who are basically grew up with the EU find a newfound love for it, and that's in a sense, if you want to go into a more positive turn on that spin, that is a great positive when it came to the EU, because it revamped the love of it, and then it created more love of it from people who may have not wanted to get into it or never had the curiosity to get into it. So if you want to find a positive light in it all, that's it. So yes.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. It's like, Disney, you did everybody a favor. Thank you so much for ruining it so badly.
Yeah, especially Luke Skywalker's arc. So it more or less like had people who explore a little bit more on post Return of the Jedi, because of Luke Skywalker as well, because they were in disbelief. Someone that is coined the hope of the galaxy, and even so, in Return or Revenge of the Sith, now is like this cynical coward that runs away instead of facing his fears, like we know he does, we know he does, and even if when facing trials and tribulations, he always wants to find resolution. He always wants to resolve and he always wants to, be there for his family, the galaxy, the Jedi, what have you. And we got the total opposite of that. So,
Oh, I know, because even though I wasn't really into the EU, I knew enough about the EU that it was like, wait a minute, there's generations of Skywalkers. This does not make any sense to me.
mhm.
And that's when I started looking at the books again, because it was like, wait a minute, there's the twins, Leia's
Mhm.
twins, and
Yeah.
it's like, I knew that Luke married Mara Jade, and I knew about Mara Jade, and it's like, well, what are you doing here? You can't kill him off, because the whole premise of Star Wars was following the legend of the Skywalkers down through generations.
Yeah. Mhm. Exactly. And we have Nexus Prime. Imagine every time George showed up with a dozen Western game source books for every new EU author. That should be a popular take between EU fans, because it shows the man himself putting dedication. And that's what he did. Like there's authors that came in. I think Zahn is one of the main ones that was given the Western games books, source books, to help create the lore, help him write. And and so many coin that George didn't like the EU. He really didn't read it. He doesn't know anything about it, blah 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 blah. But that bit of evidence itself by itself is proof that he, and it's his company. I think when people claim that, I think they discredit George on not knowing much about his company.
Yeah, and I was going to say, he fought for this for so long, and it's his baby. And if you start a company, it's for the love of that company and the faith that you have in your product.
Yeah.
So why would that not carry through to everything that has to do with your company? That makes no sense.
Correct. Yeah. And so what was the first book you read?
Well, like I said, it was The Courtship of Princess Leia way back when. But then when I first started in back here, it was probably the trilogy Heir to the Empire. And I went from there.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get into that a little bit, because I remember Stig bragging about that. He's like, yeah, I told Lady Tauriel to check out, Heir to the Empire. And he was like, giggling around, how he talks. And then he's like, and she began it. And then, like the next day, or like so many hours later, he said that you got a hold of him and saying, damn it, Stig, I can't stop reading. And that you read the whole trilogy within 1 week, in like a few days or a couple of days.
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, because I had the books, and then I downloaded the Audible, so I could read at home, and then I could listen at work.
Yeah.
And I just kept reading and listening, and yeah, I think I did finish all 3 books in a week.
Oh, wow.
I'm really bad about that. Once I get into something that I very much enjoy, it's like, forget it. You're not going to get a hold of me or anything, because I'm going to have my nose in a book when I'm not, doing something else. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, though. And so reading that, okay, let's go back to The Courtship of Princess Leia. So what did you think about that? Like with Leia and how Han was in the book versus Luke. So what did you think about that book?
Well, I think the jealousy bug got him, and that was funny. I liked that part of it.
Yeah.
The prince, I was fascinated by the prince.
Yeah.
Because Yes, because when it starts out, you're kind of like, when you find out about the family and how they act and the, what should we say, the hierarchy of how that family worked.
Yeah.
for him to be like an odd man out, and he cared for Leia, which was different for his race anyway.
Yeah.
And that even really got to Han more than anything, I think, because then he knew he was up against some stiff competition, shall we say, even though Mr. High and Mighty and I care for no one and all that garbage that was going on. Even though he tried in his way, the suave part of him just doesn't exist, which I find very humorous in itself.
Yeah.
And then Chewie's always egging him on, you know, it's kind of like, and then you look at him and he's like, what? You know, it's kind of like, I'm trying,
It's your
give me a
best
break
friend
here.
arc, right? Because you always have one side of a best friend couple or whatever that eggs you on more than the other.
Yeah,
it always calls you on your BS and kind of stuff. And for on.
Yeah, you know, and that's the kind of stuff I like, because I find it more interesting with the backstory that's going on, like behind the scenes, or you can think of it in your mind, like what exactly is going on in his head. You know, what's the meaning behind what he's saying? Is there more meaning there?
True. And so it's like, okay, so, you know, usually like with a lot of EU fans, especially in the early days when the EU was started, you know, getting formed into a cohesive, coherent storyline, history line, you know, the Empire, the Thrawn trilogy basically was the go-to book to read, because that was the one that helped kick off the EU of the time. And so, you know, there's many people that began with that and then expanded out. And then today, many people are told to go to that series or that trilogy because it's so well written and it feels significantly like Star Wars, which it should in its own right, because, you know, was you know, guided by George, I guess you can say, because he gave Zahn you know, the West End game books and stuff. And, you know, Zahn also worked with his continuity people under the licensing, you know, and all that. So going into the trilogy, when you read Courtship of Princess Leia to Thrawn trilogy, did you feel like there was a significant like growth, and did you feel that it like went well together?
Yeah, I did. When it was interesting, like when we went back to Heir to the Empire, the crazy man, you know, the crazy wizard or Jedi
George,
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah. Sabayoth,
or whatever his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see to see what was driving him, and he didn't care. I mean, he cared for no one, nothing. He was out. Even Thrawn didn't intimidate him.
Yeah.
You know, and I found that interesting because it seemed like once you get into the Thrawn character, he intimidated everyone.
Oh yeah, he had that stature, the intelligence, all of that. So he didn't need to intimidate people like Vader and Sidious did, or the Emperor. He had his own way of intimidation, and I think that he was really well written because of that.
Oh yes, he was a very interesting character because, yeah, there was no, you didn't see, excuse me, I'm doing that thing still like you had, my voice comes and goes. You didn't see a lot of violence carried out.
Mm-hmm.
was always the intimidation and the threat of the violence.
Mm-hmm.
And people believed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I found that very intriguing
Okay. Yeah.
for a character. And with the back to the courtship of Princess Leia, what are they? The witches?
Yeah. The Dathomirian witches. Yeah.
Yes. They intrigue me to no end.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because
So now
you
a little bit
get to
more. Oh, did I lose you?
okay, I didn't hear part of that.
I know we had like this little
No,
fade
I'm
out
still
right
here. I
there.
just didn't. Yeah, it was like, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
And I didn't hear you. So I don't know if it was a fluctuation of the internet or not. I don't know. So I just asked you to go ahead and explore or share a little bit more why you like the Dathomirian witches.
I found it was intriguing to me how they came to be and exactly what they are, um, why their hatred is so strong, but
Uh-huh.
yet there's always one character that's all. And I find that intriguing because when you read these books, there's always character in the hand that doesn't fit into the plan
Okay,
or
you're going
has
robot.
different dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, you're good now. It just
Okay,
went robot
that
a little
has
bit.
that has different dreams but never voices of.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that intriguing throughout different Star Wars stories.
Yeah.
And that happens especially with what's his name? I always forget his name. The smuggler.
Talon card?
Yes. Yes. That man fascinates to know and to watch his through the book. He's he's in and actually still don't know for some of this stuff. You know he's studying, you know wants
You
to
are
help, yet there's
yeah. You are going robotic. I'm like, I want to
okay.
hear about this with Talon card, but you're going robotic.
Okay, now is that better?
Kind of. You still have a little bit of that metallic sound. I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick. Raj H, Canadian 199 super sticker. Thank you so much for the continued support. I appreciate everything that you guys do to support this channel. Thank you so much. All right, so let's test you. So go ahead and
Okay,
talk.
how about now?
Good, good. All right.
Okay,
So George asked, because I
okay.
used him for the thumbnail for you. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I found him fascinating because you know he starts out everything for himself and see Monday as a second. He knows something's up with her, but not real sure. The he knows she's hiding a secret, but doesn't know what. He's out to make money. Then, as it progresses through the EU, you know,
Yeah.
you find out he wants to help, but yet there's still some of him that you're not quite sure of his character yet. And
Yeah.
to me, that is very fascinating.
Yeah. He is he is a well, like I guess for the time that we get to see him throughout the EU, because he shows up he not only shows up in some of like Zahn's books, but other parts in the EU. So, but he's a very interesting character indeed. And I remember like one of the things that made me giggle was that they're trying to get Zahn, they're trying to get Talon Card to fully, join the New Republic. And he's like, nope, I want to stay in the middle. I want to stay neutral, blah, 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 because he's thinking of his business, right? And they're like, well, how can I convince you, Han said, how can I convince you to, come over on our side? And he's like, well, if Leia has any sisters, kind of deal. So I thought that was a funny conversation, and he's like, well, with the Skywalkers, you never know, So I thought that was just
yeah. Is he the one that has the one that make it female, the character that exudes that, I don't know, masculinity or whatever it is to make females do what they want? Who is that one? I forgot.
You're gonna have to repeat that because you kind of some of your words went robotic. So I got bits and pieces from it. So
okay. How about the
nope.
Okay. Any better now?
Yeah. There you go. So who do you want to? Uh-oh, there we go. We're back at it again.
Okay. How about now?
Kind of.
Are we better?
Yeah. Now, what happened? It's okay. It's okay.
The one guy that has the ability to put the whammy on the women, with his exuding that
the pheromones.
Yes. Who
you're
is
thinking
that
about
one?
Prince Zizor from Shadows of the Empire?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting with Leia and them where it worked, but yet Chewie, good old Chewie, he became protector then. And that is an interesting technique. I find that Star Wars is very inventive with their characters, and that's one thing I do like about them, because you wouldn't, how many people would think of putting that for a character
Mm-hmm.
to have that.
Exactly. He, Chewie, sometimes I think he's really underrated, and I can understand why people, and spoilers here, you guys, if you haven't read it, or don't know, but when Chewie died, I can understand, people's take on, how upset they were at the time and even today when they read about it. But when he goes down, he is going down to his true nature, protecting not only, Han, who he swore life debt to, but also Han's family, which is that life debt is extended out too. So he went down like a true warrior, protecting and honoring that life debt.
Yeah, because in the Wookiee society, even a life debt extended to everyone in the family that you owed a life debt to.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that intrigues me too, is the Wookiee culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the one, you find out that some Wookiees can speak. What do you call it? I want to say human, but they don't call it that. But
basic. So I think you're thinking of I forget his name now, but he has a speech impediment which allows him to speak basic clearly.
Yes, and that was amazing to me. It was like, wow, okay, that's cool. Yeah. And I found that very interesting, because all through everything, unless you knew Wookiee, you'd have to have an interpreter.
Yeah. Exactly. Or so you either have to have an interpreter or so, and like in Han's situation, if you ever have a chance to read the Han Solo trilogy, he was under, when he was young, he was Dulana, I think her name was the Wookiee that cared for him. And
Okay.
he not only learned to understand Shiri Wook, she also knew how to understand basic, so they would still speak their language together, but they understood each other. So that's a very nice combination. And I know you can't see, when well, maybe you could see it now, but Drunk BPO says, "Hey, Tauriel, how's your day going?"
Oh, hi, Drunk. Great, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. I know
Yes.
you were in the hot seat, so I know what you're going through right now. Okay.
Okay, and see the hot seat. Oh my God! Torture me with EU, blah, blah, blah. No, it's all about your experience, not mine.
I had to do that. He did so well on it. He was so great on it. I didn't get to see it live, but I watched the replay. So
Oh, thank you so much.
I try to catch everybody. Since I started back to work full time and everything, it makes it really hard to catch everybody just for my work schedule because I'm asleep when you guys are awake and you guys are awake when I'm asleep. So it's hard to catch anybody unless I can see the replays or you're on late or early in the morning. But yeah, and when you started the coffee chat, that just was so amazing because now I'm into the comics just like you, and I'm oohing and awing and first time through them. And then there's my boy in there, you can't forget Mr. Hunky, I'm sorry, that's just eye candy for women, I tell you.
Quinlan
Oh,
Voss.
yeah.
And I still didn't make my new emojis for channel members, but I'm still considering Quinlan Voss because, I have Jaina on there, and stuff like that. And I might put Mara on there, but, the ladies need some eye candy too, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was flipping through that comic and I went, whoa, who are you?
Guy, I want to learn more. Why isn't he, in there later?
Oh, yeah. It was so funny because it was like, yeah, I know Steve cracks up every time I'm in the chat and stuff when I'm like, yes, zoom in on that. Forget the Twilight. You guys get enough of that. Zoom in on that. It's like zoom in on that chest there. I want to see the hair in the chest. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see that body. I want to see pecs.
Of course, he's got a smoking hot. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so here, you guys.
Because most of the J's are all covered up.
Yeah. And so this image, I still haven't finished. This image I still haven't finished since I last left off. But channel members, be excited about this because I'm gonna have a special drawing for someone to receive a copy of this, and it's gonna be bigger than this. This is a standard like 8.5 by 11 or whatever, or 10. And but what I'm going to do is have a special drawing for someone to receive a free copy just out of like thank you, gratitude, I guess you could say. And then I will have a special like maybe 10% off once I get it done and it's downloaded to receive a copy for or purchase it for like 10% off channel member only deal. So I'm working on all that stuff. So be excited. Maybe I'll do a Quinlan Voss one too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's still my heart. But no, Ventress, I find her just amazing too. There are a lot of characters, that there's so much wealth to the character once you get behind it. And the story is I've been kind of reading. I fell in love with the Plagueis novel.
Oh yeah. You're going right again, darling.
Okay, I'll come back. Is that better?
Talk
No?
again?
Yes?
Kind of. You still have that
Okay,
metallic
how
voice,
about now?
but I can hear you.
Oh,
Testing,
I
testing.
sound like I sound like 3PO. Okay.
There we go.
How about now?
Yes, a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. I'm working with you. This is this is going fun, and I always love conversation, converting with you. And I can't even talk right now. It's been a long day, but yeah, Ventress. Like she's a well-developed character and very intriguing in the PT era of the comics and stuff. So very, very intriguing. So.
Oh, yes. That's like you see in the comics, you see all different Jedi that you not only find, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and you're going to the bottom again.
So if you fly on that ball, so if you're on
Oh, and there she goes. All right. So let her. She is on her phone for the source of her for the interview here, and so I'm going to go to a little commercial pause here.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands.
Am I still?
With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave One.
Yes.
You can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon
Now.
systems, and the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the
Let me go.
galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
And there you go. She hopped in and hopped out. So, and there we got it.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back.
Okay. I just want to came back and see if that helped a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
it sounds a little bit better. Yes, kind of. Yeah. Phones can be so friggin' tricky.
Okay. Well, they hate streamers, or streamers don't like them as well. How about now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't tell because you're like sitting there going, well, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, talk to me, please.
Yeah, let me know if I'm 3PO or if I'm okay.
Yes, you're fine. And so you were talking about Darth Plagueis, right?
Yes, I love that character because you find out the whole backstory of Palpatine, basically. Yeah. And that is fascinating to me in itself because you find out how that character came to be exactly what he became in the future and why. Yeah. It gives you the why behind it because if you're just into the movies, you never know why he was like the way he was. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you like learning more about Plagueis too?
Oh, Plagueis is fascinating to me because of the scientific end of him. He had no feelings. He was all scientist.
Yeah. Yes, and I did share him as our character of the day today. So I did share a brief, summed up history about his character today. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Twitter, and so go check it out and share. Very, very his character in between the new lore and the canon lore, or the original lore. I think his, of course, classical character is way better, but that goes with any of the characters that are brought into the new lore. It seems like their characters' development, arc, and everything is a lot more favorable and better than what we're seeing today.
Oh yes, that's like Ayla Secura. I like her. I like what's his name? Kid Fisto?
Yeah, Kit. Yeah,
I like him. And I cannot I cannot think why people think it's not diverse and integrated and everything
Mhm.
else that they try to put over on this, because there was so many diverse cultures that have been brought in, and
Mhm.
women, strong women. I mean, the Knight sisters, Leia, Ayla Shakira,
Mhm.
even in the games, in the video games. I mean, I
Mhm.
haven't played those, but I know there's at least what, 5, 6 women, 7. I don't know how many's in the games, but they're all kick-ass women, you
Oh yeah.
know. And Mara Jade, right at the top of the heap. You gotta
Mhm.
say
Yeah.
she is not a damsel in distress by any means.
Even when she falters and everything. So when you get in the Emperor's hands, whatever her single comics, even though, and this like happens right before and when the Death Star 2 gets destroyed and sends
Mhm.
her on her solo journey to, finally meeting Luke, I guess you can say. Even when she went and faltered, she still was a significantly well done character. And they didn't have to use her to undermine any other character either. And I think that's the difference between the classical lore and Disney lore, is that women weren't used unless it's like Hapes or Dathomirian, the women, because they're very matriarchal. There was a reason why, right, for those cultures, but it wasn't a thing that
Mhm.
was used out the lore for every woman to undermine the male characters, which we see today. And I think that's what that puts off a lot of people going into the EU, or have been with the EU since its inception, is that these characters, these female characters, were well done and with purpose. And one character, and I don't know if you know of her just yet, but she's a female Calamarian, and she is a healer under Luke's, new Jedi Order. So I don't know if you're aware of her, but she is a well done character. She's, I think, significantly underrated. She has some great moments in Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi series.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and
I haven't.
she's species. That she's not a human species. She's Calamarian, and I think she's very underrated. But to me, she's very well developed character as well. So.
Cool. Well, that's like when I DM'd you about how the clone planet. Um, what's her name? M? Is that
You
her?
kind of robotic. You kind of went robotic there, so I only heard a little bit. So the Rogue Planet. Are you talking about Mandalorian?
Okay.
The Mandalorian planet?
No, the water planet where they cloned.
Oh, Kamon. Yeah, Kamon or Camomian, or I can't
Cami-
even friggin' say.
Cam-
Yeah,
Camino?
there we go.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Kamonian is the species. I'm like, holy crap. Or okay, speech impediment going on here for that friggin' name. Yeah.
um, I I thought she was fascinating. Uh, the
Mm-hmm.
the the one there. A lot of people don't like them, but
Oh,
I
Tonween? Yeah.
yes. I don't know. Maybe it's the elegance of them, because I found them a very elegant race, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't seem to care for the Caminos. I mean, maybe it's because they didn't understand what was going on. They were apart from everything,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all they did was clone, basically. After their planet became a water planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, to me, that culture is interesting to me, because they just take on a job and then they train everyone from what I guess the basic clone is that they start with.
Yeah.
And so you don't know if they have feelings, don't have feelings, how their society works. Um, if they're in it just for money, or because they're on a water planet, there's no other resources.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I find the different ones very interesting that way, because I
Yes.
always, like I said, I try to look behind how they became what they became.
Yeah, and you still have, I know you still have like a lot of lore to discover. And when you come to the Camino world and the species and stuff, you're gonna find out a lot more, and you'll be like, oh my God, Alora or Stieg or whoever you're talking with about that. So much things I
Oh
want to say,
yeah.
but I don't want so much to you that self discovery.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd probably be DMing you going, look, look. Okay.
yeah,
It's like, ah. It's like, why
yeah.
didn't you tell me, Allure? Why didn't you tell
Because I don't
me?
want to spoil it for you. So I'm going to say, refer back to our interview on Talking EU.
I,
I don't want to
I,
spoil it for you.
I know. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard for you, because that's like on the Game of Thrones one, because that's why Sporking likes to have me on, because when I was discovering the books, and now that I've read all the books, I
Mhm.
understand why it's so hard for them not to give spoilers, because it's like, oh no, it didn't happen yet. You got to remember, this didn't happen yet, so you can't say anything. And
Yeah.
now I understand. All of a sudden, you hear people shut up, and it's like, now I know. Now I know, because you want to live
Uh-huh.
that sense of discovery for the person. So
Hmm. Yeah,
that makes it all that much more fun, because you get to see their excitement for what
exactly.
they discovered. Yeah.
And then we have Chaos Man. Why the Empire gave up on the clones right after the Clone Wars in canon, well, he's probably thinking Disney lore, instead of keeping them in the first place like the original canon. So Chaos, when I think of canon, canon is really what Legends is. That's the true. Disney is basically their own lore. It's not canon to, like, because it's not the first original maker kind of deal. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the dynamics of that. So anyway, so why didn't they? So in Disney lore, why didn't they keep the clones like they kept them in the original lore? I can't explain that to you. I am only following reviews of the Bad Batch and all that. So I cannot explain why they are going in the direction than what the original lore did. But hey, we're here to talk about the original lore and the beauty of that. So since we're talking about clones, when you did go through the comics during the clone period with us, so do you have a favorite clone or a favorite story arc or anything in that time frame?
Um, I liked the relationship that Kenobi had with, what's the one clone?
Alpha, the first Alpha.
Yeah.
Mhm. When they got captured and tortured by Ventress.
Yeah. He their relationship was amazing, because the one thing I noticed about Kenobi, no matter what, he treats, clone or not, human or not, he treats everyone with the same type of respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there are a lot of characters through the comics and everything else that don't,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's one thing that I liked about Kenobi, that if you look at Obi-Wan and the morals of the Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
he comes very close to adhering to what the Jedis are supposed to be, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, Even though he may not have adhered to all of it, he tried
Yeah.
very hard to adhere to all of it. But, the heart knows what the heart knows. You're human. You will
Hmm.
fail. Um, and I know a lot of time he had a lot of self doubt and a lot of, uh, I don't want to say regret. It may have been regret on his part, but he never let anyone else see his regret.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I found that very inspiring. I mean, it is to a degree, but you also, like you said, in with the new Jedi Order, they learned that not all that was good to repress all those feelings.
Yeah. No, it wasn't because, and it's just like regular life. So, like, okay, I'm going to go into my yoga spew here. When you, and this is probably just in general, when you hold in emotion, hold in fear, hold in worry, just holding things in that's not serving you, that causes a lot of problem, right? And that still goes. And so, with the Jedi, and their process from the old order versus the new, you can kind of relate to that because even us as humans and stuff like that, if we hold in negative thoughts, negative feelings, or feelings in general, we don't express ourselves, we end up getting ourselves sick, our thought process starts going negative and all that, we see that spin. And that's just the same way with Jedi of the old. So that's a great point right there.
Hmm. Well, you see that in Palpatine
Mhm.
until all, shall we say, hell broke loose. Uh,
Yes.
and I won't give spoilers for that either. I read it, so I'm nice too. I won't give spoilers. You need to read the book, people.
Yes.
Read the book. Um, but you also see that in Anakin because if they'd have let Anakin express more and not just to Padme
Hmm.
instead of like Yoda saying, just let it go, let it go, let it go.
Hmm.
If he'd have been able to express that more, it would not have turned out the way it did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, again, that's a great point and stuff. And we get into this arc of like comparing both the old Jedi Order to the new Jedi Order. And so, from what your knowledge is with the new Jedi Order versus the old, um, do you? And we probably all know this answer, but do you feel that Luke's recreation of the Jedi are setting some things right that were faulty with the old? Do you think that was the path and well done under Luke, or do you think he could have done further with the lore? Just hypothetical.
Um, I think he did right. He probably could have gone further, but who knows? I mean, you see with the Sith evolved.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've read. Let's see. I read the first Revan book. I haven't got to the other two yet, but I read the first Revan book, and you see their evolution. You see that they did not stand still, that they embraced a lot of the new, and with the Jedi still clinging to the old beliefs, which, yes, you need to keep some of the old, but you also need to incorporate some of the new if you find out that the old is not working anymore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially against an enemy that's evolving
Yes.
and
Yes.
has almost the same beliefs, but they are now able to, let's say, use the Force in a much worse way, you need to counteract what they are becoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. And so I don't know if have you read Revenge of the Sith novel?
No, not yet.
Okay, so that is one of the best well-written EU novels, and of course it's to the movie, but it's one of the best well-written one in the EU, and it expands. And some of the scenes that we get in the Revenge of the Sith novel, I'm like, oh, why couldn't they just expanded that a little bit more in the scene of the movie? So back then, of course, the novels were, especially the movie novels, were very much canon to the movies, right? So whatever wasn't shown or expanded off in the movie, in the novel, it still held true. And so there's the very last chapter is called New Jedi Order. And I'm just going to spoil this a little bit for you because it'll probably get you anxious to read it. I'm pretty sure you have this whole long list of books that you need to explore already. Thanks to us.
That's fine. That's fine. Yes, thanks to you, Teresa, Steve, and the people in the chat that go when we have coffee chat and stuff. It's like, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so that chapter, it expands on what you were just saying about how the Sith evolved. They were, they were atoning, they were hiding, and they were evolving. They were studying the Jedi still. They were evolving and plotting for their revenge, right? Well, Yoda realized that the Sith evolved, and the downfall of the Jedi was that they failed to evolve. That Yoda himself admitted and said that, he trained the Jedi to defeat the Sith from 1,000 years ago, where they should have evolved. So they were doing the same old training for over 700 years of his life, or since he became a master. And he never once, decided, well, maybe I should evolve the order. So everything was just repetitive, the same thing over and over again. They weren't prepared for the Sith's return. Where the Sith was prepared to overcome the Jedi with any of their flaws, and stuff that they have. And so that right there basically is it's just gives me chills thinking about it, because it is true. You even recognize that without even reading that novel. And then he goes on to say that, that they evolve, and that Luke's going to be the one, and along with Leia, but Luke is going to be the one that creates the new Jedi Order. So, and this is right after, Padme gave birth. So it's just, it goes on beautifully. And Stover, or not Stover, what was his name again? Was it Stover that wrote the book? I forget. I should know this.
I don't know.
I think it is. Well, anyways, the author, and I'm like, shit, I can't remember it now. Okay, Laura, brain fart here. It's been a long day. But anyways, when he met with George Lucas, they went over all the dynamics of the book. And he also took James Luceno's questions he had for George for Labyrinth of Evil and Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. And so that right there, those three novels together is unofficial trilogy, so we have Labyrinth of Evil, we have Revenge of the Sith, and we have Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. And so that's right there was done beautifully, all well together under George's helm. So, oh, look at this. Demogenized, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, hashtag pimp raid. Well, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for coming in and bringing some more people in to watch.
Hi, Demogenized. Yeah. Thank you. I think I appreciate it.
Look at this. You guys are
We're
amazing.
having fun. I'm doing robotic here. I'm going from me to 3 people and back again there. It's wonderful time.
Yes, and you're now you're going to droid speak again.
Hey.
There
Well,
you go.
you can't say I'm not into Star Wars, can you?
Yeah, she's like,
We treat everybody equally. We do that. We appreciate the droids as well. What can I say?
yeah, droids' lives matter.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
all right. So now that we got deep into like the evolution of the Jedi Order, and like even how the brilliance of George get involved with the novels to help, but to help evolve the Star Wars lore. That right there, without even having to read some of that, you nailed it on the head with the evolution of the Sith versus the Jedi and stuff. And so now I'm going to make you do a bit of thinking. Who would you say is your favorite character? And you can have like a favorite Sith, a favorite Jedi, a favorite species character, what have you. I know it's really, really hard to decide. I know.
My favorite character? No, it's not that hard.
Okay.
There's a ton that I have come to know and love, but my first love will always be Luke.
Okay.
That's what started it all. Like I said, when Return of the Jedi came out, I went to the movie theater, and I think I saw Return of the Jedi 13 times on the big screen. That's how much I love that movie. And cry every time. And I still cry every time it's on television. It doesn't matter. You get to that one scene and it will just kill ya.
Yeah.
When he says goodbye to his dad, with the prior. And yes, just because you feel for him, you understand him. There's, I think, a little bit of everybody in
He's like
his character.
Mm-hmm.
You can relate to him because everybody grows up, everybody goes through doubts.
Yeah.
And man or woman, it doesn't matter. So my favorite, easy.
Yeah, and I think like because Luke is our first Skywalker hero, in the overall lore when George was first creating Star Wars, so I think a lot, and I know there's people who resonate with Han Solo as well, and that's perfectly fine because he has his own hero's arc as well. Like all three of them has their own hero arc, but what's brilliant about that is that they all evolve together. Without one, the other one can't evolve. So I like how they all meshed in together.
Yeah, it's I hate to say this, it kind of reminds me of the Three Musketeers. And maybe George took part of that from the Musketeers, because without each of them helping the other would have been dead long ago. And that relates also to Star Wars. Without them working as a team, they would not have made it. One of the characters would not have made it without the other.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what gets me upset when people bash and say, well, Leia did it all. If it wasn't for her, they wouldn't escape the Death Star. And I'm like, no, first of all, I'm not going to bash Leia. This is just hard fact. She's the one that got them into the trash compactor and they almost got killed. Luke had to calm the droid. So I mean, so to sum it up, they each played a pivotal part on helping each other escape. And in the long run, Obi-Wan gave his life so they can escape.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, or they would have been stuck on it if he hadn't.
Yeah, exactly. And so when people want to go into this female characters, we need female character lead and female or more significant men kind of deal that we've been seeing lately. and then they try to use Leia as an example in A New Hope, it falls very short. And then, I had that discussion on Twitter, and I've been called, well, you're just misogynistic, and, or you're bad mouthing Leia, or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, when you go back and watch the scene, she gets them trapped. She finds a way out, but it ends up being a trap. So she gets them trapped. Luke has to calm the droids. Finally, that gets them out of there. And then they're still battling through and having to split up to get to the Falcon. And, then Han goes and, diverts the troops, the stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leia and Luke get trapped on the ledge. She helps him to get the grappling line up so they can cross over by, shooting and firing at the stormtroopers. So it's like you said, and like I said, it's a team effort. And
and it always
go ahead.
Yeah, and it always continues through the whole story. If you look at that, even though they may be separated, they still are not separated. Basically, they still all work together, and they come back to make everything work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the brilliance of those three. And even when you look in the PT, that is more of a Greek tragedy. But one was not like out of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme. Again, they all worked together some way, somehow. And their characters basically influenced the other characters one shape, way, or form. Ugh, I can't even talk. And but this time this went tragic to the fall of Anakin and keeping secrets and not being truthful, because I did see that as Anakin not being truthful, not and him and Padme keeping a lie, that was part of the downfall.
If you really look at it, was his youth, because he had not. I don't know. We always think we're grown up when we're in our teens, early 20s. I'm Mr. Know-It-All or Miss Know-It-All, or them, their, who, what, when, where, or whatever the correct thing is nowadays. Sorry, people, I don't go in for those. I don't go in for those nouns and crap. And he always thought he knew better. And that is a sign of his youth, more over than anything. And then his love on top of that for Padme really screwed him up.
Yeah.
If time would have gone on and he'd have met Padme later on, I think it would have turned out different. But at the age he was, he thought he knew better than anyone.
Yeah. Sure.
And we all go through that stage. I mean, remember when you were a teen?
Oh yeah, it's like, we had that like, oh, I'm not a kid yet, or I'm not a kid anymore, and I'm a young adult kind of thing, and so I can conquer the world. I know it all. Nothing's gonna defeat me, kind of ego. And I think we all go through something like that, male or female, and learn from it will determine, like our success later in life, and that's kind of like what Anakin did. He went about that maturing young adult life in sort of a wrong way, I guess. And we're probably going into something that people don't really think about when you're in young adults. And, and adding that to Anakin's story is that, he was a very, very prideful and very arrogant.
Like I said, I think about things behind the motives of what they did and why they did. Plus, he never forgave the Jedi, basically, for
and she jumped up, and there we go. Hello?
Yeah. Am I still there? Okay.
Yes.
If oh, she cut me off. She don't want to hear this. Okay.
Well, no, I don't. You just stopped it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute here. What happened? You were on
if
it too.
if he could have went back and saw his mother just once, because that yearning never went away, I think it would have turned out a whole lot different than when he did find her, because that yearning never went away, even though he had father figures
Mm-hmm.
in his life. You know, he had Qui-Gon and then he had Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't replace a mother. And for him never to be able to see her once until
Yeah.
it was too late almost would, I think, have changed his perspective a whole lot, because the more he thought about it, the more he resented the Jedi for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, following along in the comics on Coffee Chat, when we're on the arc in the Clone Wars era, did you think that, like his arc was done well, and seeing how he always wanted to save people, but how he started turning slowly, I guess you can say, because of the power he has as a Force user? Did you think that was well done?
Yes, to a degree, because he did care.
Mm-hmm.
He always cared.
Yeah.
I didn't see that many of the uh, let's see, the Clone War comics, but on television, the animated series. But he always did care. It was, but there was always something. I think he needed more recognition than people gave him. He
Yeah.
was one of those people that needed to have the reassurance all the time that he was doing the right thing, or the
Yeah.
pat on the back that said that a boy. And the Jedi aren't like that. The Sith, on
Mhm.
the other hand, that's how he got manipulated,
Yeah.
because Palpatine would feed that to him.
Yes.
He knew exactly how to get to him, because it was like, you're doing well, my boy. You're exceeding. You're far beyond these people.
Yeah.
And the Jedi just expect you.
Mhm.
That was just their expectations, because that's what they did. So
Yeah.
there was not a lot of that a boy, Anakin. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Mhm.
The closest we came to that was Obi-Wan
Mhm. Yeah.
talking with him. And even that was very sparse, because they, like I said, they just assumed that because that was part of the Jedi code.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, and it does go into the movie a little bit as well, but it's more expanded more in the novelization, is that Obi-Wan speaks to Mace about Anakin basically wearing his heart on the sleeve, that he would go and want to rescue you. Your life was worth a lot to him, because maybe friendship or what have you, but that was in his nature to want to drop everything and go rescue or help someone out, basically. And I'm not quoting everything, piece by piece or anything like that. And we see that
Mm-hmm.
in the comics that were reviewed, and we've seen that
Mm-hmm.
in the novels, some of the novels, including Revenge of the Sith, when in the beginning, in the battle above Coruscant, and he wants to go save or help out, I think it was Cody or someone, one of the clones, and Obi-Wan's, no, you got to stick to the mission. But he's like, but I got to go help him, kind of deal, and so he was always wanting to help, always wanting to save, always had his heart on his sleeve, and that's where Palpatine took advantage of him and boosting his ego.
Yes, and plus he did have patience. patience was very minimal, um, considering what the Jedi expected out of patience. You
Yeah.
know, he was the one that's always like, "We got to go get them now, now."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
they're like, "No, you need to stop and think."
Yeah. Yep.
And he was more action oriented than thinking oriented when it came to that.
Yeah. He just wanted to act
True.
rationally. Hmm.
Yeah, and that also gave Palpatine the edge too, because he also knew that Anakin had no patience when it came for certain things.
Exactly. And then I have Cavatino Chase says, "How do I schedule a message from at OG Star Wars? What do you need to talk to me about? You can DM me on Twitter. You can email me at ogstarwar77@yahoo.com. That's my email for my channel. So there you go. All right. I don't know what. And then Revenge of the Nether Realm at OG Star Wars. Besides a lightsaber, don't you think a blaster rifle would be a choice of weapon for Luke since he was raised on a moisture farm? Well, when Luke's time came and he created the new Jedi Order, they used other weapons. They weren't, against using the blaster. The blaster rifle or blaster as well as the lightsaber, whereas like Obi-Wan, so uncivilized, he always seen the lightsaber more elegant than the blaster and stuff like that. So yeah, so just a little bit on that. All right, and let's see here. And then Chase Man 17, do you believe that Anakin and all those of his blood are the will of the Force made manifest? So we'll go back to Darth Plagueis novel. When you read about when you read in there that how much Plagueis was surprised hearing about Anakin, and of course, he learned about his age, and he went back, thinking about when he was manipulating the midichlorians to create his little army and stuff like that. Did you think that him and Palpatine made Anakin, or did you think that it was the Force in revenge of what Plagueis was trying to do? Because that's a mixed bag right there for a lot of people.
Yeah, that is. I thought it was the Force because he was experimenting, but he was experimenting for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's always a balance. So, I mean, even look at Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Nature balances herself out. So I think the Force was trying to balance themselves out, and they're strong enough genes. I mean, you look at people when they get married and have children. Sometimes they're a combination of both people, and you see it. But sometimes the genes are stronger, and I'm not talking about Levi genes, guys. Hey, hang in there. I know where these comments go. Where you see the predominance of one person's facial structure or build compared to the other partner, and that gene line is strong and carries through. So yeah, I think it was long term. And I think that was on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have Revenge. He says, laugh my ass off. Tauriel jokes. And then Chaos Man. Anakin was meant to kill just Sidious, not the Sith as a whole, since the Sith were interested in raw power. What Plagueis and Sidious were doing was messing with building blocks of the Force. I don't think that he was created just to kill Sidious. He was, I think that he was, basically made to create balance, which means, at the time it was getting rid of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting take that, Chaos Man says right here, that he was only made to kill Sidious. I don't think is it, honestly. I mean, but because even George Lucas said himself, he's killed the Sith to create balance.
Actually, yes, and to me, if well, I don't know. He does have a point in a way. I could understand that because they think it would stop if he did. Okay. But there was still, let's put it this way, evil is very hard to kill.
Yeah.
And if you kill one, it's kind of like Hydra. Okay, we'll go to the MCU. It's kind of like what they said. Hydra, you cut off one head, there's two more to take its place.
Yeah.
And if not, someone somehow, some way would find a way to fill that gap because that's what evil does.
Yeah. True. And I think that their good can't just exist on its own. There's always going to be the human, our species nature of making the choices. And I think that's what evil and good is about making choices, like not necessarily the yin and the yang, but basically making choices. And that, with Star Wars, well, before it was bought out, good or balance was the light side, imbalance was the dark side, because no one wants to, continue to do bad deeds and whatever, that's self-destruction in its own, right and stuff. So it's very interesting how, George used many themes or tropes to create Star Wars and how it expanded and gave birth to the EU and, and then created, expanded the lore on top of that, which I really, really love.
Oh, yes. He interwove like mythology, Greek mythology, Eastern culture, and their mythology. It was amazing how he took all these threads and wove them into an integral. It's so. I'm trying to word this the right way so it comes out right. It's so integral, it's simple. Okay?
Yeah.
You understand what I mean by that? There's so many underlying threads to this story, but it's a very simple story until you start dissecting it. And that's what I find so interesting. To me, anyway, that's what I enjoy about it.
Oh, okay. So Kevin Tino right here basically says that OG Stars, you were called a misogynist, and that's why I was wondering about scheduling a message, because I did not know you were a masseuse too. Masseuse. I don't know what that says. I'm probably saying it all wrong because today I just can't speech today whatsoever. All right, I get it. And then Abu Nas at $10. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And two of my favorite ladies rocking the spot on Saturday night, talking EU, and my favorite subject, Darth Plagueis. Sending my love to both of you queens. Thanks for making Lucas Star Wars great again. There you go. And thank you so much for the super chat as well, and for listening in. Yeah, so I know. And getting into the Plagueis.
Thank you, Abu.
Getting into the Plagueis, we bounce back. We're bouncing all over the place, but that's okay. But getting back into the Plagueis arc and Anakin.
Sorry,
That's okay. And let me see what I was going to say. Now I lost my train of thought there. Oh, damn it. It's just very intriguing and how this
Plagueis.
Yeah. Plagueis, Allure Plagueis. Let's see here. And did you like what did you find fascinating with Plagueis when he was experimenting on experimenting with the midichlorians? So I know you went into like the community and stuff, and their brilliance, but like with Plagueis, how did you feel about that? Uh-oh, you are going droid again, darling.
Okay, how about better? Worse?
No.
Okay, are we doing okay? No. Okay, how about now? Better? No. Okay. How about now?
A little tiny bit. I could just see you holding your phone, adjusting it, going it further, closer. And she's gone. All right. And so when she hops back in,
phone's moving over there.
There we sound clearer now.
Okay. I found it very interesting that he was watching death rates with the midichlorians, and it was like, this man is so clinical. He doesn't care about who or what he uses. He's just trying to find out, like, which race midichlorians did the best with, the timing on how long they lived, or if they were compatible. It was really interesting, actually, because if things have midichlorians, which basically, I guess we're all made up of midichlorians, and the Force is more or less with some people, more with the other. If the Force surrounds you and binds you and holds everything together, that means people do have midichlorians in them. It's just the amount.
Yeah.
Is what I was thinking when I was reading that, and it was but that was not his purpose. His purpose was he wanted to live forever and carry on everything. So that's where his mindset was for that. But for me reading it, it was more, okay, this is very interesting, because you come to find out that everyone has it to a certain degree, but if you saturate someone with them, some people will live, some people will die, some people will live longer, but then they were still dying. So what in the Force are the Jedi and the Sith? Because they live and have a high rate of midichlorians. So that's where my brain went for the next one. And that hasn't been answered to me yet.
Yeah. Okay. I think you haven't got to a point yet where you know about other Force societies, right? Other than Jedi and Sith, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's another thing that you're going to have a discovery of, is that there's different Force societies. Once you get into the Thrawn duology, which I think you read, right?
Yeah, I did.
And so the antique monks were the ones that were basically introduced, and that's one Force society, and they have a different perspective on how they see and use the Force versus Jedi or Sith, and it's more fitting to their species. And when you learn more about the species and the Force and stuff, you'll learn like some species are very, very strong-willed, so they can't been manipulated by the Force, like via mind tricks, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like exploration and depth with even in the lore when it comes to characters, the Force use, what type of species they are, all of that. If that species has a Force society. Like the Baron Nose too have their own Force society, and that's where Plo Koon comes from.
Okay, and that's like, what is it? The beasts that nullify the Force. I found fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It
the
was like,
Yisla Mary?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, okay, so there is something that does stop the Force
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that nullifies it, and to me that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The one, what is it? The one planet that Mara Jade was on, and Thrawn, I think it was Thrawn was on, um, where he got dropped off, left marooned or whatever it was, um, that had that also, that
Mm-hmm.
they were, they nulled the Force. Nothing could be used there, which in a degree puts everybody on equal footing, which I found fascinating. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you have to use your wits, not just the Force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so, that like with species that can, hide or bubble themselves from being detected through the force, like the Yuzlamari, to species like the Vorngsters, the dog-like species that hunts them and eats them. They hunt and prey by feeling the force users. And so that was very intriguing as well, is that species or animals or whatever using the force, in that type of manner. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, it keeps the force a mystery, because you wonder why. Okay, so what is balance? And then versus Jedi versus Sith, are the good light versus the dark, right? And then you get into
Mm-hmm.
more out of the Sith Jedi groups, force using groups, and and further into the other species that has their own force groups. And you learn different ways how they like, or how they use the force, and how it's
Mm-hmm.
maybe maybe more or less for their species, maybe not, and how some Jedi don't even know. And then how they use the force can also mean that it's dark side ability as well. And once you read further in and you go to Fate of the Jedi, you'll get to explore a little bit more of that with Luke Skywalker's exile. So that's something to look forward to. So if you want to really get into all that and learn a little bit more and all that stuff, that's that's some of it. I know a lot of force abilities, whether Sith or whatever, is also revealed in Knights of the Old Republic time frame. And so that's another one that can be explored. So you go from one end to the other end of the history timeline. And like I said, the lore is so full of differences when using the force and stuff. It's just amazing. It is. So I mean, not to overwhelm you or anything like that.
I'm.
Uh-oh, there you go again. You are sounding like R2 right now. I need an interpreter droid. Are you there? Are you with me? Hello? Did I lose you? I think I lost her. Hello? Well then, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and go to another promotion.
I had fought the worst of all wars and witnessed the redemption of evil. I have seen balance restored to the Force. But order can turn to chaos, as it did when I was born. Now, with my loved ones and my loyal allies, I face a new challenge unlike any before. And I'm not sure this time we can win.
Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, the first novel of the new Jedi Order.
All right, everyone, and I hopefully she makes it back in here. We did lose her, and yeah. So let's see if you guys have any questions in the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer that and talk a little bit more. So Soul Assassin, definitely the era I would hang out in is the Old Republic. Awesome. And then Lady Tauriel, L2D5, Tauriel. And then let's see here. And my cat's joining me again. Hello. Scott Johnson, I'm fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. Correct. And let's see here. The Blue Pig Gaming, you probably didn't recognize Scott at Scott Johnson's because they are red arm, because of the red arm. Yeah. Hello. Welcome back. Oh, I don't hear you. What's going on? Oh no. And then Abuna says, probably Disney fake Lucasfilm is trying to censor you both. He laughs. And then let's see here. At OG Star Wars, there's your dark saber. Or where's your dark saber? I don't want a dark saber. I'd rather have, if I picked a saber, I would pick something of like Jaina Solo's in a sense. So, Lady Tauriel, hello. I can't hear you. There you go. I heard sound. Hello. Testing. Hello. Just when I was getting really, really good, damn it. The Blue Pig Gaming. We all know that Darth Bane era is the best era. He is the best Sith besides Jar Jar. Oh, you're like one of those little Jar Jar Sith conspiracists. That would be funny. Okay. And let's see here. And when you become a member of my channel, oh, we got two. Look at this. She's multiplying. Hello. Look at this. We have 2 Lady Tauriels, and I have my cat over here loving on me. And we still can't hear her. Hello. Look at this camera hog too, you guys. Say hello to my cat. Her name is Freckle. Look at her. Okay, now we are down to 1. Okay, you're going down. All right, let's see here. And then we have the oof, like cringe face, almost like uh-oh. And then it's not a conspiracy, it's a fact. Dun, dun, dun. And then he's a Sith Lord. Yep, we had clones. So Lady Tauriel is now a clone. She was cloned, and now I can't hear you. I see you're still here. I just cannot hear you. Scott Johnson, Lady Tauriel. And let me see here. Oh my gosh, those dead eyes. And double the Tauriel, double the fun with the heart. Yes, we just want to hear her too. Her phone probably overheated. She uses her phone right now. And let's see here. Vitatate is my Sith, as he managed to become immortal, and his powers were insane. Yes, he's the one, I believe, if I'm correct, that basically force drained his planet and people and made it dead. And my cat's over here just raising heck. Freckle emojis win. Oh, you want one of this darling here who can't stop but look at. See, there she is. Dear small baby. Let's see here. And then she says, I'm trying to get back on. Okay, well, as soon as you can, I will we will continue this. All right. And then say Lady Tauriel's death, Darth Plagueis confirmed. Dun dun dun. Everybody's making their little story about you, darling. Sorry, but about what that joke. I can't even talk. I'm telling you, I'm like failing at this. Hello. Okay, you're not showing that you're muted, but I cannot hear you whatsoever. So maybe it's your phone sound. Maybe. And sorry about that, OG Star Wars. Originally intended to use the buffering emote, but chose some sad face emote by accident. That's okay. That's fine. And let's see here. Oh, cute fuzzy kitty. Oh, and in OG Star Wars, she's Darth Traya. Ooh, there we go. I'm pretty sure she's like probably cussing in the background, very upset right now because she can't get the connection. I wish I can hear her. And then Darth Tauriel the Wise. and everybody's having fun, giving you a story and everything. Oh, yes, because we have an elf and a guinea pig in the live chat, we need more forest friends. There we go. All right, so she's here, but not here. She did multiply, and then it went away. We still can't hear her, but we were having such a great conversation, loving, getting deep into the lore, talking, and she's gone. All right, so chat, do you have any questions that you want to ask? Even if she's in the chat, she could probably type it out. You know, make this work. That's what it's about, right? Making it work. Ancient one. Oh, yes, because we have an elf. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Let's see here. We also have a blue pig. Yes, you guys are freaking crazy and amazing. I love it. Chaos Man. Who is your favorite female Sith? Not Darksider or Dark Jedi. All right, so I would say that would be towards Lady Tauriel as well as me. So my favorite Darksider, so we wouldn't count Asajj Ventress because she's a Dark Acolyte, right? I like this lady right here. Let's see if you can guess who she is. I'll show her in my avatar. Okay, let me see here. There she is. So if you know who this one, my avatar is based upon right here, then you'll know who this is. And so she's my favorite Sith. So see if you guys get that. And she says, phone is heating up and won't let me back in. That is okay. So who is your favorite Sith, Lady Tauriel? And we'll interview a little bit more here and we'll start closing it down. So if you want to share in there. Revenge of the Netherland. Oh my gosh, this is a good joke at OG Star Wars. What did Korea turn to the dark, or why did Korea turn to the dark side? Because she'll be Treya. Okay. And then says, let's see here. And one day, OG Star Wars, once Mad Squirrel ever does Nightfall at a nut house miracle of natural. Oh, you're carrying on with a little storyline. Okay, I get it. Sorry. It has to be Githany. He's got it right. That's Zana. Wait, no, that's not Zana. I'm sorry. It's not Zana. Sorry. I already know. Not Zana, not Githany. Let's say, here's the hint. And here we go. Hello? All right, we still have her on, but no sound. Yeah, she said she was having much fun. This isn't Zana. And it's not telling. Yep, Vistara Kai. Lumaya, I guess she does count. Let's see here. And Lady Tauriel, we still don't have voice on you, but if you want to type in the chat or whatever, or we could start closing out so that you don't get too frustrated, because I don't want you to be frustrated. But we did have a great conversation, and you guys really, you know, if you get a chance to visit with her on Twitter or talk Starwars with her or other fantasy, she really, 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 you know, analyzes it really well. She goes deep into the lore. She's very, very, I guess you could say, intuitive with figuring things out, like especially without even reading Revenge of the Sith. She realized how much the Sith evolved versus the Jedi, you know, and all that. Oh, I hear you a little bit. I heard a static. Oh my God. Okay, Tauriel, you were amazing on the panel tonight. Well done. Yes, well done, darling. Well done. Thank you for the encouragement, Abunas. The Blue Pig Gaming. Anyone pre-Darth Bane doesn't count. Why doesn't it not count? They were still Sith. They are fake Sith. Oh, look at this. Hello? Hello. Okay. And then Darth Cognis. Is Vistara from Legacy of the Force? Yes, she is. She is from the Lost Tribe of the Sith. So you read about them, you know, pre-PT era. and then they come back again in Legacy of the Force. Let's see here. Even now, I vouch for Lady Tauriel to one day be part of the Queen's Council. Yeah, that would be fun. And then Soul Assassin, Lady Tauriel cloned herself. Yes. So we are going to go ahead and close out here. We're coming up on 2 hours, and I always like to stay within 2 hours, if possible, to keep you guys entertained and, you know, and into our conversations and stuff. Because I know after a certain time frame, people start not wanting or start falling off and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start closing this out. So any of my moderators, go ahead and share Lady Tauriel's link to subscribe for her page. She is a great person to talk to about fantasy, all of that, including Star Wars lore. Great, you know, she's great at analyzing it, going deep into the lore, and sharing it. When I was on her channel, one of her very first live streams, it was fun. We had a great time, and I always enjoy having her on my panel or being on live stream with her as well. And so I want to thank her so much. I can understand it can be frustrating being on your phone and your phone heating up, and so I don't want her to be frustrated. Ancient One, deeply understandable OG Star Wars, yes. And let's see here. And if I may ask, since you're going to close this, do you wish to raid someone? I don't know who's on right now. Who is live? YouTube. Let's see who's live here. So, because I would love to extend the favor. So we have Mary Mayhem. Shenanigan is live right now. So I would say everyone go check out Shenanigans. It's always great fun to laugh and listen to and laugh with the shenanigans that's going on. So everybody, after we're done here, go check out Mary's channel for Shenanigans. Abu Nas, great live stream, ladies. Thank you all for all that you do. Yes, thank you so much. And let me go ahead and pull up her. Here's her link to her Twitter. And here is her YouTube channel. You guys go ahead and you know, subscribe to her, share support, great conversation. Thank you again, Lady Tauriel. You are amazing. Much respect to you. Much love to you. She's a great supporter of a lot of YouTube channels, and she's really greatly appreciated, you know, by us all. And so thank you again. And I guess that's it. We are done here with the quad zooming around by my house and everything. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's going on. So thank you guys. Thank you in the chat. You guys are freaking amazing as well, sticking through this fun conversation, little bit of laughs we have, all of that. And you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for the support. You know, becoming members, being here, just supporting by chatting, asking questions, becoming members, like I said, or sending super chat or super stickers. It all helps the channel maintain and grow. And I couldn't do this without you guys wanting to have more of the classic EU, and, you know, and to listen and talk about it as well. You guys are amazing, and have a great day, and may the force be with you.